Hi, my name is Raju. I'm based in Singapore. I'm the Chief Revenue Officer of Crayon Data. I've been with them since last year. And this is my first visit to Africa. And this is my first visit to Kenya. I'm really glad that I turned up here. It's a very exciting place. It's a pleasant surprise the way some of these discussions have gone on. Crayon Data, we are into personalization of every marketplace, every individual, and connect those dots together that allows organization to improve their revenues, eliminate any unproductive way of marketing, unproductive way of spraying and praying of resources that we usually see in the market. So we try to augment these marketplaces, we try to optimize them, and we try to increase the revenues and lower the cost approximations to each of those clients. We think there's a lot of fitment here. My discussions this morning, since morning onwards, must have spoken to a couple of dozens of people. I noticed that there's a lot of willingness to understand what's going on, what can be applied from the outside. Crayon Data has a lot of good examples of success stories from countries such as Kenya, which have a similar set of unbanked customers, etc. We have multiple years of working in some of those use cases. So when we look at this one, it's like, okay, we just need to find a fit. We think it's there. We think the interest is there and the energy is there, and therefore we want to plan to making sure these things really turn out to be a successful part for all the parties involved. Number one, we have recently, last year, we have won our first client in Africa, although that's in Tanzania. It's a new digital bank, it's into device financing, etc. We're still in the early stages of learning, but what we realized is that the model that we applied there is something that can be replicated, that can be made useful for social good, as well as commercial good for a lot of companies out here, including fintechs, including financial services, insurances, telecommunications, and so on. Ideally, that's what I would like. No questions asked, just give me the purchase order. But I guess the way we usually work with companies is, one, what does good look like for customers? Where are they today and where would they like to go to? That's our first status. Because we work on the ecosystems, right? Primarily, there are three moving parts to the ecosystems. One is the payments, the wallets, the credit cards, and those sort of things, which are the payment side of things. Once we set that up, the second part is we have to connect those things with the marketplace. Think of merchants and offers. So, get as many of those as possible, or whatever is optimal, and so on and so forth. That's the second piece. We bring those things, or we optimize those things, we augment those things. And the third and final piece of the muscle is what we have as an AI and ML product platform called Maya.ai. What it does is to make sure the individuals using the wallets or the credit cards are actually connected to hyper-personalized offers and merchants, and make sure it forms into a virtuous cycle. A virtuous cycle that then generates more revenue, better customer satisfaction, get a better customer experience, and all over it's a good for the economy and for everyone involved. So we are seeing those kind of moving parts to be put in place, and because everyone has their own level of sophistication at this stage, we have to get down to that level and work from there. So our typical cycle is, once we establish a real opportunity, we take 2 to 3 months to really make that into a formal side of a deal. So I wish I could sign it, but I guess the good news is we are seeing a bunch of opportunities that we think we can probably take them to a closure in the coming quarter or two. So I like the way it was done. I think the job was done very well in terms of the participation, the kind of people that turned up here in the audience, and the kind of attention they're paying, the staying indoors, focusing on it, etc. That's one part. Not just anyone. The decision makers are here. Many of the decision makers. That's number one. The second one, I think the organization itself is very smooth, very straightforward. So I had that experience straightforward at the beginning. of today. When we walked in, everything was right. And I think the team has done a good job of preparing everyone, such as myself, for example. I was presenting, so all these things were put together fairly smoothly in a professional manner. So I like what happened. And finally, what is closest to my heart, I mean, everything is good, but we want to connect with the end customers, which is what happened today. So, so far, like it's been 6 hours. I hope to make sure these things progress and we connect. And the evidence so far is that we are on the right track. There's not a direct solution that we see here that competes with something as an offer that we do. And therefore, it's very exciting. They got a problem, we got a solution, and it's a matter of time before we make it work for both parties.
Awesome. Thanks so much.
Thank you.